So that's it. On to Germany.
Woohoo! Germany.
Germany.
Germany's fun.
Oh, that's me again, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Bayern Munich versus Bayer Leverkusen. I really like this match, but I found it really hard to find some value. But Martin, you've got a bet here.
Well, that's why you've got me on the show, right? Okay, so yes, the odds are not good. 1.25 is all you can get on Bayern Munich. However, I'm going to go for Bayern Munich to win and under 3.5 goals in this game. You can get odds of 2.25 on that. You have to go back to 2011, a run of 13 games for the last time a match between these two teams saw more than 3.5 goals. So that would suggest you're not going to see more than 3.5 goals in this one, particularly as it's the opening game of the season and it's a bit cagey. Everyone's finding their feet a bit. Bayern don't have a very good away record against Leverkusen, but at home they're dominant. They've won the last 4 games at home against Leverkusen. So put those two together, Bayern Munich to win and under 3.5 goals, 2.25. Love that bet.
Ooh, I don't know. I was looking at the over 2.5. Do you guys agree with the under 3.5?
It's not one that's really stood out to me, I have to say, but it's one of those games that could go either way. Bayer Leverkusen just sold their highest goal scorer, and I think there's some work to be done on both sides.
Me personally, I would like to see how Bayern Munich will perform in their first 2-3 rounds, because in the International Champions Cup, they were really poor from my point of view. Okay, there were friendly matches. We cannot judge from the preseason matches. But this is why I would like to see how they will perform, and after that to start betting on them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's the tactic that some people, especially the stats people, Stuart, I know you're the stats man. They like to wait until you get a couple of weeks under your belt before those stats coming in. How are you finding this first week?
It's difficult. There's very, very few stats to go on, but I mean, a couple of my systems, they work on results over previous seasons, so that one's not too bad. But Germany is one of those I've had to be very careful with.
Yeah, well, you've got a couple of bets from Germany. Hamburg versus Augsburg.
Yeah, another crazy.
Right, go on.
Hamburg have been very, very poor over the last few seasons. They've been lucky to stay up something like 3 seasons in a row. I think Augsburg can catch them cold, so I'm going for an Augsburg away win. Odds of 3.67 with Pinnacle.
Nice, coming in strong there with the odds. Hoffenheim versus Werder Bremen. Alex.
Yeah, I think that we'll watch the same matches between those two teams with a lot of goals, like also in the past seasons. Hoffenheim just played a really good, from my point of view, match against Liverpool in the Champions League playoffs. They were really unlucky because they dominated most of the match. I think that the result is not real, because it's real, but the match wasn't like that. Hoffenheim should win that match. They are a really good team. The 4th place from the last season, the 4th place finish from Bundesliga is not a surprise from my point of view. They continue to perform at a great level. Let's not forget that Werder Bremen had an outstanding second half of last season. Every time they were scoring at least 2 goals in every match, and they went from the danger zone to 8th place or 7th place finish, if I remember correct. So I think that they will go in the attack like they usually do, and we'll see a lot of goals. So I'm going with my first Alex classic here. Both teams to score in the over 2.5 at 1.7.
Nice. First one of the season there for best bets. We've got a comment also here from Dela for quite like Leipzig to win this week. They kept all their big names. Martin, I know Leipzig is a team that we both played, but you've not had it on your bet slip this week. Is it because you want to see how they play? Is it because they're away at Schalke? Why did they not make your best bets?
Yeah, for both of those reasons, actually. I really, really liked Leipzig last season, won a ton of money on them in the first half of the campaign. But then they did get a little bit inconsistent towards the end, and they burnt me a couple of times. It was particularly their away form that wasn't looking good. So I would just have hoped for a little bit more value to consider backing them this time around. Also, I find Schalke quite an unpredictable team. So I'm waiting to see what sort of shape Schalke are in this season, as well as Leipzig. So I think if Leipzig can get on a roll, I'll start backing them definitely, but not this week for me.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, if you see how they kick off in the first sort of 15, 20 minutes, there's enough value there. Leipzig comes in about 2.6, Schalke at home 2.9 could be an in-play bet as you see who enters the pitch, so to speak. Okay, Mönchengladbach versus Cologne. Martin.
I think Borussia Mönchengladbach can have a really good season this time around. It was a bit of a game of two halves for them last campaign. They started poorly, but then they sacked Andre Schubert and brought in a new coach, and then they had a huge upturn in their performances. And one of the highlights was beating Cologne 3-2 away. So now that they've got Cologne back in front of their home fans, I think they'll want to kick off the season with a win, and I think they can get the job done. 2.05, I'm going to go for Borussia Mönchengladbach. I think they're a dark horse for a top 4 spot.
Okay, Wolfsburg versus Borussia Dortmund. Stu, what do you got?
Yeah, this is another one where probably the crazies have set in, but I'm actually on Wolfsburg to win this one. I think Borussia Dortmund, they've started a little bit slow. They took the lead in the German Super Cup, and then managed to lose that to Bayern Munich. So I think that they could feel a little bit of a hangover from that. So Wolfsburg, they've still got some very good players. They've sold a few, but they've still got some very good players, and they can cause an upset. So the odds on this one earlier on were 4.25 with Pinnacle.
Wow. And Martin, you've got a bet for this match. Do you agree with Stuart there, or has he pushed the craziness too far?
I absolutely do not agree with Stuart on this one. So, but glad to have a bit of conflict already. No, it has to be Borussia Dortmund for me. These two teams played twice last season. Borussia Dortmund won 3-0 at home and then 5-1 away. So 8-1 on aggregate. They really did have the upper hand. I think that could give them a psychological boost. Obviously, they've got a new manager and it's all change at Dortmund, so they will need time to gel. But I think this is the perfect game for them to get off to a winning start. So, yeah, 1.88 looks very good odds for me on Dortmund. So I have to do one of those dance-offs depending on what happens.
You've got to remember that Dembele isn't playing. He's been suspended by Dortmund. So,
yeah, but Aubameyang's playing.
Strike.
Let's ask our viewers here. Are you with Stuart and who are you with? Are you with Martin? Has Stuart pushed the craziness too far, or are Dortmund too unpredictable, like Dalo 4 says? Who you go with? Let us know. Yeah, what do you think, Alex?
How can I go with someone that is out from Need for Tips in this? No, I'm joking. I love. Yeah, of course. Doesn't matter if you will say stupidities or not. I'm with him, you know. But yeah, I love also Stewart's crazies. You know, I have some money aside this year for every Stewart's crazy, so I will go with that one also.
Oh God, no pressure there, Stuart, I have to say. Okay, we're moving over now. Let's have a look. Dortmund do concede. Stuart is the best. There we go, Stu.
Wow.
That doesn't mean the bet might be good. You're just the best, Stuart. There we go.